So maybe you've cleaned up your food. Maybe you've even had weight loss surgery, or maybe you've been trying so hard to take care of yourself, yet the scale keeps creeping up and your clothes feel tighter, your energy feels lower, and maybe there's that nightly drink that turns into a bottle, maybe. And that started feeling harder to ignore. So today we're going to talk about the connection between alcohol, midlife weight gain, and also I'm going to bring in bariatric surgery. So for many of us women, this might be the missing piece to why you're gaining weight. So let's dive in. Welcome to Sober and Lit,
the podcast for women who want to get sober, stay sober, and live a life that's way more lit than it ever was with wine.
We're your hosts, Ruby and Susan, two alcohol freedom coaches keeping it real with stories, tools, and zero judgment.
Whether you're sober curious or all in, you're in the right place.
Let's feel lit, alcohol free. Welcome back to the Sober and Lit podcast. Hey listeners, it's Coach Ruby, Coach Susan. Hi.
Hey.
Yeah. So we'll dive right in. Weight gain, alcohol. I get this question all the time from my clients, and I just thought we could answer it here on the pod today. So why am I gaining weight in midlife? Even though I'm trying so hard, could alcohol be the missing piece that no one is really talking about? So we are going to go there. And this topic is very personal to me because I lived this. This is what happened to me, especially after bariatric surgery. So for me, I used food first to cope with emotions, to cope with stress, to cope with sadness. And I gained a lot of weight, and then I decided to have weight loss surgery. Not everybody had weight loss surgery, but some people are using like GLP-1s, or you've tried different ways to lose weight. I mean, there's Weight Watchers, and I even tried Jenny Craig. There's all these diets out there, but what's interesting is we try all these diets or try all these weight loss or eat healthy. I did the whole 30, and I did 30 days with drinking. So come on, it negates it, right? But after bariatric surgery, it definitely hit me different. So if you're out there listening to this and you've had weight loss surgery, you probably are relating to what I'm going to say here, in that the alcohol hit me faster. It felt stronger in my body. And I remember feeling so confused. I mean, it felt like overnight. We talk about that if you use it for emotional regulation or stress. We just had an episode a couple weeks ago about stress and like how it can absolutely go faster. Mm-hmm. But then when you have like weight loss surgery, your anatomy, you're actually cutting away your part of your stomach. So there's different stomach enzymes. It goes right into your bloodstream faster. So it's not only like emotional, which it could be, because oftentimes, if you're eating to relieve stress or to regulate your emotions, and you're eating and then you take away food as your coping tool, it can transfer. We call this like a transfer addiction. And it can happen where alcohol, because you can drink alcohol and it affects your body so differently that within 1 year, I would say it was very fast. I went from take or leave it to drinking 1 bottle a night, and then it increased for me 2 bottles a night. And then I got really, really scared because I started switching to hard alcohol, and then I kept gaining weight. And it was just very confusing for me because it felt like a double whammy. I picture like someone boxing and, punch, you're the person that eats to relieve stress, and then bam, you lose the weight, but you have alcohol use disorder. It's like boom, boom. And my, my health started deteriorating. Not only was I gaining weight, I was pre-diabetic. It all happened fast. My blood pressure was up, sleep apnea. So some people get sleep apnea because of the way your anatomy is, like in your throat. Mm. But some people, it's weight gain. When you gain a bunch of weight, you get really heavy, then you have sleep apnea. And sleep apnea, if you've never had it, you are extremely exhausted. Yeah. So it felt really hard to to go through all of this. And I just want you to know that it's not your fault. It's not that you failed. It's that your body has changed. And especially if you're going into like midlife, we're going to talk about 3 main reasons later on in this episode. So stay tuned. But it's kind of a perfect storm, right? To gain weight for a lot of reasons. So you have to keep listening. So anyway, I just know so many women that this has happened to. And Susan, did you notice any like weight gain when you were drinking? Did that happen to you?
When I was drinking, I was also probably restricting food. So I know a lot of ladies drink on an empty stomach so that you get the high faster. I mean, I was definitely heavier than I am now. And my problematic drinking kind of started in perimenopause and early menopause, and then I stopped. So, I mean, it adds empty calories. I also had a more sedentary job where I was sitting a lot. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that it's harder and harder to maintain your weight as you get older. And now here I am older, but I weigh less than I did when I was drinking. So
yeah. Well, what we're going to do, we'll go right into the 3 main reasons that I've come up with. I mean, there's a lot more, but 3 main reasons why if you're drinking alcohol, you're gaining weight. And the obvious one is that there's a lot of calories in alcohol, especially if you're drinking like I'm so used to saying mocktails, but if you're drinking like margaritas or something where you've got the sugar, the calories add up fast, and you might be drinking more than you think. And then after I was drinking, I would maybe make poor choices. For example, if I was like doing that Whole30 diet and I had my organic, chicken breast with the salad, and then I drank wine or had my alcohol, then I honestly, I was the opposite of, I didn't restrict calories. For me, I was the kind of drinker that would eat more. I would just and especially after weight loss surgery, it's like it relaxed my stomach or something, and I was able to eat more. And I would snack and graze while I was watching TV. And I might even go to fast food restaurants when I would, if I'm on the Whole30 diet, you're supposed to, I wouldn't normally do that, but I would do the things. It's like my vows of what I was going to really do with food I would break all my vows to myself, my promises to myself, and eat the foods chips or French fries And I also want you to know that the body prioritizes alcohol first. So even if you're eating a Whole30 type diet and you're eating healthy foods, if you put alcohol on top of that, the body is not going to process the healthy foods and store all the nutrients and vitamins and minerals that you need. It's going to process the alcohol first. And so many clients, many people that I come in contact with that are drinking daily, that are heavy drinkers, they are malnutrition. And it can affect in 2 ways. They can also be very, very thin because they're, like you said, Susan, they're not eating. They're drinking their calories, but you can also gain a lot of weight because you're sedentary. You just can't, like me, my job, I worked in an office, worked on computers, sat at my desk, and then I didn't want to, do anything after work but drink and watch TV or do something sedentary. And you literally just over the years, it snuck up. I would just gain weight every year. Yeah, because when your body is processing the alcohol, it's not burning fat. That pauses. The blood sugar levels shift. Your hunger cues get disrupted. You think I thought I was hungry all the time. So, yeah, I mean, Susan, do you think alcohol changes appetite and cravings? And what did you notice or hear from clients,
Yeah. Well, what I noticed for me is that I knew once I learned from this nutritionist that worked at our gym that your body stops burning fat when you drink because it prioritizes burning the alcohol. I tried all these weird tactics to try to help me, limit my drinking. So if I went to the gym, then I wouldn't drink that night, but then I would always just drink anyway, But
right.
Yeah, I think that especially in midlife when our metabolism's slowing down and then we're adding these additional calories from alcohol, say we're in this accelerator event where all of a sudden we're using alcohol as a coping mechanism, so it's accelerating, we're drinking a little bit more. It's just a perfect storm, like you said, for weight gain because all our metabolism's slowing, we're increasing our calories with the alcohol, and if we're even if we're working out and doing all the things, and this is what you hear from people, I'm doing all the right things, but the one thing that they're still doing is drinking, and then they're wondering
Right.
why they're not seeing the results from all the things they're doing. It's because of the effect of alcohol on your metabolism and on your fat burning and the excess calories. So
Yeah. Yes. And we're going to talk about hormones too in a minute. But like, it's just this perfect storm where maybe all throughout your 30s, even 40s, you are able to, your body can, I felt like it, like in my 20s and 30s and 40s, it was in early 40s, it was able to keep up with it. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, I felt like the brakes, everything went on. My alcohol increased. My weight increased again after I lost it from the weight loss surgery, and everything just happened. Then I started to feel, hot flashes at night, and I started to get the perimenopause symptoms. And I want you to know that those are also exacerbated by alcohol. So again, perfect storm. But let's talk about like it created for me. I call it the couch potato fatigue. It really, really did. It like feels relaxing at first, but then I had no motivation. In fact, I remember, I don't know if I ever told you this before, Susan, but I would say, like, if I had the weekend, off work and I could drink earlier, I would say, okay, I've got to get all my things done. Like if I had laundry, all my chores, paying bills, or whatever was on my to-do list, I had to get it done before I started drinking. I knew that as a fact because I would become this couch potato person. I would lay outside, or if I was trying to get my garden done, no, I would just instead I would watch TV or something, or just lay outside. So, yeah, I mean, I would just be so tired. And when I think about it, I talk about these spirals, okay? And if you're watching the video, I'm doing like my spirals because alcohol, it's like you drink, say you drink it every night, which I was doing. So I'm speaking to those of you that are more the heavier drinkers that are drinking every night, and you've got like this lack of good sleep, this healing sleep. So what my pattern was is I would start drinking after work and drink all the way until I would pass out. Then I would wake up at like 3 a.m, and maybe this is happening to you. And I would lay awake. And I think this was the time that the body is processing the alcohol in the liver. It's a time when your REM sleep is disrupted. And REM sleep is so important. I'm also a sleep coach. And when you are it's the back half of the night, the early morning is when you get your most REM sleep. And that's when you're making memories, you're processing emotions, you're dreaming, and you're healing your body. It's like that's the time where your body fully shuts down so that it can go in and find like rogue cancer cells, and it can go in and really heal your body. But if you're not sleeping, then you wake up in the morning, you're already way below. We call it like 50%. You're probably at 10% because you also have been drinking the night before. You wake up, you're exhausted, then you beat yourself up. So then you're mentally, and you look at yourself in the mirror. I would look at myself in the mirror and just be so angry with myself. And I would still have, makeup on from the night before, my purple tongue from the red wine. And I would just be so upset. And then I have to get up, I have to go to work and do all of this. But my tank was empty. And then I have all these decisions to make at work. The same cycle just keeps repeating. I get off work and I'm like, I just have to have that glass of wine to relax. And this spiral happens. And then I would gain the weight like we're talking about. But guess what? I want to have the positive here. I want to have the hope. The spiral goes the other way, you guys, as you get alcohol free. You sleep better. You make better decisions. You have more energy in the morning. You can have more energy during the workday so that when you get to the end of the workday, you might use your other tools. On a previous episode, we just talked about mindfulness and movement, and you can use these other tools. And then you have more better days. You feel better. You have less anxiety and you have more joy. And it's like the spiral goes up and then you start to lose weight. Okay. You just naturally, you'll start to lose weight. So yeah. What about alcohol in your energy? I think you have like an opposite story. You were saying something different, like it gave you energy or something.
It would give me energy to do initially, and then I would crash. Like, so when I was getting my MBA, I would think, oh, it makes me more creative, or, here it is 8:00 and I got the kids to bed, and then, or they were older, but they were done with their homework and they're, on doing their own thing. And then I would sit down to write a paper or something, and I would think, oh, this will like get me through it or whatever. But then I would start to poop out, basically. Because it initially would give me this rush of energy, and then I would.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. So, a lot of people have that. I was not like that. I hear this also similar to me, where it's. I would, as soon as I started drinking, I would crash out. It was like checkout time. But a lot of people, it's like they drink and then they can, do something like do all the laundry or something.
Or cleaning. A lot
cleaning.
Of people drink and clean.
Yeah.
I'd put music on and I would clean. Now, the music, it's great. Put music on and clean. Just eliminate the alcohol.
The alcohol. Yeah. Yeah.
But a million times I would think I had all these things to do, and then I'd sit down to drink wine, and then, the laundry would stay in the washer and I could put into the dryer, and I would go to bed.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't go finish what I started. So it could go both ways. It just depends on, especially day drinking. Forget it, man.
Yeah.
You just are so tired by the afternoon. And then what you do to like stay energized is just keep drinking.
Keep drinking.
Right? So
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
Worse.
Yeah.
Worse. I mean, it's really, now that we're talking about it, I'm just,
I know. I'm like, oh, I do not. I'm so happy now. But so number 3, I remember I have three main reasons why women in midlife might be gaining weight from alcohol, and it's hormone changes at midlife. I know we've mentioned hormones on several other podcasts, but this is, it's really, really, it changes how you might be gaining weight. The hormones, your estrogen and testosterone and progesterone levels are changing. You may be going through perimenopause or postmenopause, and all of these, it can affect your mood swings. You can get angry, you can have hot flashes, very irritable. That could be the anxiety. And the symptoms, these symptoms were a lot stronger and way more unpredictable when I was drinking, because I got alcohol free right in the middle of my perimenopause, which was so interesting. And I remember at first, it was just really, really, really horrible. I was waking up every hour with sweating and then cold and then like back and forth. And I'd be at work. I remember I'd be at work and all of a sudden I'd be like in a meeting and I would start, my face would get red and I'd sweat and like get hot. And it was just, and after I got alcohol free, I still had some symptoms, but they were much milder. It was drastically different. Way more like stable mood. Yeah. So the second reason is alcohol raises the cortisol and it disrupts sleep. So I know we were talking about sleep before and waking up, but it's also hormonal, you guys. And I used to blame it on that. Oh, it's my hormones. But honestly, it's alcohol that would wake me up at 3 a.m. and it just totally disrupts your sleep. And it can also create the fatigue the next day, and it can impact your cravings and metabolism. So much going on here. Hormones are way more important than I even once realized. Now that I'm studying it more, and because I went through perimenopause and menopause, I'm really, really interested in this topic. And I think that it's just something that we are not, it's kind of put under the rug. Also, like alcohol, it's just put under the rug, especially for women. Yeah.
Well, one confusing thing that can happen also in perimenopause or menopause for women is that they don't tolerate alcohol as well as they used to. And they start to feel like my body's betraying me. Like I just have one glass of wine and the next day I feel like crap.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's very frustrating. But this is totally normal because our bodies have less water as we get older than they did before. So it's stronger, it's not as diluted in your bloodstream. And we don't have the same enzymes in our liver, or as much of the enzyme that breaks down alcohol in our liver as men do, and we get less as we go through menopause. So we also are at a deficit there as far as like processing the alcohol. So it's like our bodies are telling us this isn't good for us, right?
Yeah, let's listen to our bodies. Yes. I mean, I know a lot of us know that deep down there's something wrong. Like I knew deep down. And when I really looked at it, even though I was making excuses, I'm older, so that's why this is happening, and my sleep is disrupted because I'm, working so hard. But it truly was the alcohol that was creating this, again, the spiral of cycles that just created the weight gain, because of the lack of sleep. I've mentioned before, but we actually lose weight while we're sleeping. Isn't that cool? Like it's, I never knew that. And when I studied this, I was like, oh my gosh. So, okay. So sleep is even way more important than I knew, but it's amazing. Yeah. Well, I wanted to share a client story, Sally, because she had bariatric surgery and she used to feel really defeated because after weight loss surgery, she started gaining the weight back again and she couldn't understand why. And she really just wanted to feel like healthy in her body and in control. But she tried stricter food plans, different diets, blaming herself, but it didn't work because she was still drinking. And then she started to learn, Sally, that alcohol impacts post-bariatric surgery bodies differently. It really does. And she realized that alcohol was probably a big part of the picture of why she was gaining her weight back. And then she got curious, started working with a coach, with me, and explored her drinking patterns. And we started with small shifts, and then things started to change. And now she has over 100 days alcohol free and more energy, less inflammation. She feels more connected to her body. And guess what? She started to lose some weight and starts to feel more peaceful in her body. And that's what we want, right? To just feel more healthy and peaceful in our bodies. So, so sometimes the missing piece isn't, having more willpower or a different diet or more restrictions and rules. It's just finally understanding what your body has been trying to tell you, listening into your body. Well, I created this resource worksheet. I call it the Alcohol Weight Gain and Midlife Reset Worksheet. And it's at coachingwithruby.com/alcohol weight gain. And in this worksheet, you're going to be looking at the symptoms, your hormones, and then weight gain patterns. So it's just a way to kind of check in. And it's a real simple worksheet, just a couple pages. If you're really interested in this topic, we've done a couple other episodes. We did one back, OG, it's like episode 16. It's called Finding Balance and Honest Conversation on Weight, Sugar, and Alcohol Freedom. And then we did an episode around bariatric surgery, kind of my story around bariatric surgery a long time ago, episode 31. And that's Weight Loss Surgery and Alcohol, A Journey to Emotional Wellness. So there's a couple other episodes if this is something you're interested in. And now it's our listeners' favorite part of the show. Susan, what are you doing in your life right now to feel lit?
Okay. Well, I got a really nice gift from a friend of mine. So I like to have a prayer time. But I don't know what has happened. I feel like I have adult onset ADD. Like I just can't sit still and keep concentration for long periods of time. I don't know what it is. Maybe old age or whatever. You walk in a room and you're like, what? Why am I in here? But also just staying focused. So she gave me, and I'm showing these Anglican prayer beads. And so there's like a cycle that you go through where there's a special prayer you pray on the cross and then 2 beads, and then you go into a section where you do prayers of praise, and you pray one for each bead. So there's like this physical element. And while I have it in my hands, I stay very focused. So it's the praise, then it's another like little scripture that you read on this bead, and then you go into Thanksgiving, and then another special scripture, and then you go into your prayers of intercession. So like when I say that, I'm going to pray for somebody, that person gets a bead. You get a bead. And you get a bead, and you get a bead. So everybody I'm praying for gets a bead, and I pray for them. And it's a really great way to make sure you're praying for the people that you say you're going to be praying for. And then another little scripture bead, and then you go into asking forgiveness for your sins, and you go along, and then you have two ending, and you say the Lord's Prayer, and then you're back to the cross, and you're done. And it is just like before when I would pray, I'd be praying, and then it's just like squirrel,
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like with this physical element, it's really helping me stay focused and like make sure I get all the way around through all the beads.
And then how do you feel after
really
you
nice.
pray and finish
I feel
your
like
beads?
it's done. I feel so calm in my nervous system, and also I just feel like I've done what I said I would do. I've prayed for the people I said I would. I feel like I've connected with the Holy Spirit and my inner wisdom and hearing God's voice. Yeah, it's something that's really meaningful to me and something I really want to do, and this just helps me do it. It's a tool to help me do what I want to do. So
That's awesome.
my dear friend Rebecca gave me these, and then there's different ways you can do it, and like different routines, that you can do. But I love the idea of people getting a bead. So when I tell somebody I'm going to pray for them, it's like, you're getting a bead.
You get one of the beads. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. I love having something physical too, like a stone in my pocket So I love this idea of prayer beads. Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
That is my feel it. Yay.
Yay. Well, we're going to close up, but if you've been feeling confused about your weight or frustrated by weight gain and wondering why your body's feeling different, could be the alcohol. So I want you to hear this. You are not failing. You're not broken. And you're not imagining this. And when we women are in midlife, this can happen. And if it's happening to you, you're not alone. And there are real reasons alcohol can feel harder and impact your body in different ways, especially in midlife and especially after bariatric surgery. So the good news is that once you understand what's happening, and you can make a plan, and that can actually support you. And if this resonated with you, I'd love to talk with you. I offer discovery calls where we can just look at your story, your goals, and I can support you around alcohol and your weight loss goals. So no pressure. It's just a conversation. So I'll put the show notes, the link in the show notes with how to, book a call with either me or Coach Susan. We always have our in the show notes. And so thank you so much for listening. And I'll also put the worksheet in there. And thank you, our listeners. And remember, do something to help you feel lit today.